If I don't do this one, problem with it. Wait. Turn it down, Super. Turn it down. Can you please bring out your card key? Can I see your card key? Is that your card key? Oh yeah, wait. Listen, if the key you brought out is not to a 2020 model, can you please, with due respectably, return it to where you took it from? Listen, the Bible says the just shall live by word. But yeah, bring out the property. 2020 model rubber cha-cha never been driven before. Shake the key. Wait, if you look at the right-hand side of the key, there's a button. Can you see the button? Wait, when you press the button, the car door to the driver's side will open slightly. Oh yeah, press the button. Is it working? It's working. Is it working?
Good evening. If you're joining us, please drop message. Let me know who are online. I'm just waiting for us to have few people so that we can just start up. So those online, please just drop message. Sister Foley, good evening. Good evening.
In my place where I come from, we have an adage. And that adage will say, teach when you meaning that when your yam is done and ready to be eaten, you will use your hand to cover.
I think I have to start for today because we're waiting for some of this to be good. Good evening, everybody. Good evening, those online, and good evening, those that will watch us after the live video. Today our program is to do revision of preparation for exam. For exam, for those that are willing to sit for exam in Spain, driver's license in English language. So if you're joining us, you can help us to like or dislike the button or encourage us on way to do better. And if you have any question, remember you can always call on 620-586-038. The number is pasted on the live chat there, where you can be able to call him to ask your question, or you drop your question on the live chat. Just type your question, drop your question. We are able to answer and explain why it is like that, or your experience. If you have your experience in the exam and you want to share with someone, you can also call him or you write it down. So, but today I'm going to talk about a chapter in one of our book, which is one of the question in exam, and I'm going to pick points, some area where question comes from there. So it's one of the topic we did in our class, on our own online class last week. And as our routine, every Saturday like this, what we did last week on our class, we do revision on video, live video like this, so that student can benefit and be able to ask questions. And today, and some of the tests we did online, also you can be able to ask question on that so that we can solve that up here. So today I'm going to talk about the lightning and the optical sign. The lightning and the optical sign. The lightning and the optical sign. As we all know, in exam, questions come from here. Most time this topic, there's no topic that question does not come, because when a student goes to exam, you don't know the 30 question that will come for you. But because everybody in that exam hall have different 30 questions, nobody has the same. So there are thousands of questions which they have to roll, and the one that can't touch your own table is the one that you will go for. So talking about the lightning system, what is the purpose of lightning system, and why do they place lightning in the vehicle? Now, you have light at the front of the vehicle, which are front lights, and you have the one behind, which can be called rear light or tail light, TAIL, tail light. So the purpose of lighting system is to see and to be seen. The light at the front make me to see. The light behind make me to be seen. Those are the optical signals system. They make me to be seen. So when you're driving, you put on the headlamp at the front. Remember that it has a tail light also, which will make you to be seen. Make you to be seen when driving, because so that people behind you will be able to see that the vehicle is driving front. And remember that it is against the law for you to install more light than the one authorized for use. You can't just add additional light halogen on your vehicle and start driving. It's against the law. According to law, you can't do that. And on the headlamp, we have headlamp at the both side of the front, headlamp at the front, headlamp on the right side and the left. And this headlamp is a kind of light that has three kind of reflection in it. Three kind of reflection. Might be one bulb, but in the one bulb, there's different filaments that makes it bright, and brighter, the brightest. So we always look at it, the bright one, the normal one, which when you drive, if you've driven before, you realize that when you just put off the first switch, what you get is called the side light, which is called position light, because it's used to position yourself on the roadway when anything happens during reduced visibility or at night. And it's called a parking light because also when you position yourself, you're positioning yourself because you park. That is why it's called parking light. And when a vehicle is moving, this light is on also, but you don't use it to drive alone. It's not enough to be used to drive. I mean the side light. I'm talking about the side light, because the purpose of the side light is that it's used during the sunsets and sunrise, or in any adverse weather condition, because that is the lowest unit of light which we have on there. So for example, now you're driving at night and you have an emergency and something happened to your vehicle, you have to you park your vehicle on the highway at night and you put on your hazard warning light, you put down your triangle in the right position, you have to put on the side light, because the side light will show your presence on the roadway, because that is the light. The purpose of it is to position you. That's why it's also called position light, and it's also called the parking light because you use it for parking. So we have other lights which can be second switch. When you switch the one, it's more brighter than the side light. That light is called the dipped beam. The deep beam can be called low beam or can be called short range because it does not go far. Short range is the kind of light you use to drive. That's the light you use in driving. So if you ask, which light must you use to drive? Is side light. And anytime you on the side light, remember that you've passed through this. If you ask which light must you use to drive, you use deep beam to drive. You remember that before you get to deep beam, you've already passed through the side lights, and which means when you on lights, the deep beam, the side light is included. So that was why in exam, if you are asked which light must you circulate with, a question will say A, side lights and deep beam, B, side light or deep beam, C, deep beam on side light. You just remember that it's side light and deep beam, because anytime you on side light down, anytime you on deep beam down, the side light is also on. And remember, side light cannot be used to drive, as I said earlier. But when you're driving, you use the deep beam, and the side light is included in the deep beam. So remember, it's used both in town and outside town, sufficient lighting or not. So on highway at night, you will use the deep beam also. And remember that when you now advance from the deep beam, you switch it higher, it becomes a high beam, which is the full light, the full beam headlight, the long range. That is the light that blinds so much. That is why it is not permitted to be used in a built-up area. You use it outside a built-up area. When at night, when you are driving over 40 kilometers per hour, I repeat, where can you use the full headlight? You can't use the full headlight in a built-up area. You use it outside built-up area at night when you're driving over 40 kilometers per hour. And remember that it dazzles. So when it dazzles, what must you do? You switch over to the deep beam headlight, which is the second one. And remember, you can use it. You don't pack with it, because when you pack with it, it drains your battery. It drains your battery always, because it is a kind of light that consumes so much. So that is the 3 filaments in the headlamp. I repeat, the side light, the deep beam headlight, and the full headlight. So the deep beam headlight also dazzles. The deep beam dazzles when it's not well adjusted. But when it's adjusted, no problem. So in exam, in case you ask, does it dazzle? Yes, deep beam dazzles. The beam dazzles. The only light that does not dazzle is the side lights, because we don't use it to drive. We use it to park, and it's a kind of small, low reflection. So the uses of light. It is compulsory to use light without dazzling. Just note that in mind. Don't dazzle other road users. Lights are used at night. What is night? Night is sunset to sunrise. That is the night. And even in a good visibility, you use light. And light is used in a tunnel or underpass. Anytime you enter a tunnel, you must on light. You must on light. And the light is deep beam headlight. And in any condition that reduce visibility, like meteorological condition, weather condition, you must put it on. Now that takes us to a light that is used in a weather condition, which is called anti-fog light. What is an anti-fog light? An anti-fog light is a light that provides visibility during foggy. Now, how does it go? We have the front fog light, we have the rear fog light. Most time, some vehicle does not have the front fog light. The front fog light is on the bumper. So when you don't have it, no problem. But when you have it, it must be working, because if it does not work, you can't pass the ITV, the technical inspection stuff. So in this case, you have to understand that the front fog light is used for in any atmospheric or meteorological condition that significantly reduce visibility. When it reduces visibility, you use it. Also, you can also use it at night when without problem of weather. At night on a narrow section of road with signposted curve. On a narrow section of road with signposted curve. On a narrow section of road with apart from weather condition, the front one can be used on a narrow section of road with signposted curve, as I said. So in exam, if you're asked, can the front fog light be used apart from the weather condition? Yes. Note these 3 things. On a narrow road, at night, with signposted curve. Signposted curve, narrow road, at night. 3 things. Now, what are the meteorological conditions we're talking about? We're talking about the fog, the snow, the heavy rain. Remember, there's difference between very heavy rain and heavy rain. The front one is used only during the heavy rain. But when it comes to very heavy rain, you use the rear, because it is now, and when I get to the rear, I will explain more. Now, we have the back one, which is the rear one. The rear one, the purpose is to make me more visible. Remember, it is used especially in difficult weather conditions. So if a question comes and say, which of the fog light must you use in a difficult weather condition? The rear one. Difficult weather condition like thick fog is different from normal fog. Heavy snow is different from normal snow. Very heavy rain is different from heavy rain. So know this. Heavy rain, if you're asked in the exam, which of the fog light can you use in the heavy rain? Good, the front one. Which one can you use in very heavy rain? Very heavy rain, the rear one. So we have the dense cloud and the dense cloud and the smoke or dust. We need to use the the frog light. Also, we have some other lights which are the interior lights. That is the light inside the vehicle. It is not compulsory for any private vehicle, but it's compulsory for any vehicle that is doing a public service, like the taxi, like the buses. They must have. We have the rear plate number light. You know, we have two plate number, but the one that has light is the one at the back. So in case you ask an exam, which one has the light? The rear one. So remember, when it comes to motorcycle, if you are asking an exam, how many plate number does motorcycle have? Only one at the rear side. Now we have the other light, which is called the clearance light. What is the clearance light? Clearance light is the two white lights on top of most of the buses you are seeing. Two white lights at the front, two red at the back. What is it insinuating? That light is telling you, indicating the width of the vehicle, that it is compulsory for any vehicle that is more than 210, that is more than 210 meters wide, optional for 1.8. In exam, it comes, which of the vehicle must have a clearance light? Any vehicle that is more than 210 must have that. And anytime you switch on the lowest light, which is the side light, that light is on, the clearance light is on. We have the indicator. What is the indicator? The indicator is the trafficator, is the two amber lights that tells you, positioning you to the left or telling you you want to go to the right. And we have the reverse light. Reverse light, it can be one, it can be two. Is the only white light that is behind. Anytime you engage your gear, the white light will show. And only the motorcycle does not have reverse lights. Remember this, only motorcycle does not have reverse light, and the only white light at the back is the reverse light. Now we have the hazard warning light, which is the double trafficator, as we call it in Africa. When you activate all the indicator, the two indicator together, it becomes an hazard warning light. Their uses is in any immobilized vehicle. Immobilized vehicle is true. Maybe something happened to your vehicle, hold up, or something gets you stuck on the road. You put on the hazard warning light. 2, when you immobilize due to emergency, maybe on central reservation area or on the hard shoulder, you're changing tire due to emergency, you put it on. 3, when you are driving under emergency, abnormal slow speed. What is abnormal speed? Abnormal speed is a speed that is lesser than the minimum speed. Maybe something happened to your car, you want to just leave from the next exit, you put the hazard warning light. The 3rd one, when you're undertaking a kind of emergency service, when you are undertaking a kind of emergency service, that is the service whereby you have to take someone, maybe for example, you're taking somebody to hospital, a non-priority vehicle, you're using your private car to take someone to hospital, you can use that. The other thing is when you're traveling, when you're driving a minor or a kind of school children, a buses or a minibus that is traveling school children puts on it because of the distance of picking the children. So we have the safety, also the safety vehicle during sports. All those vehicles that guide the race, the cyclists, the motorcycle riders, they use the hazard warning light also. The last light which I'm going to talk about is the brake light. The brake light. This brake light, it's activated repeatedly anytime you press the foot brake. There's the red light that is intense, showed behind. And these red lights are always 2 sometimes, but in motorcycle they can be 1 or 2. So they are compulsory for all automobile, trailers, and even more. And we have a third brake light, which is the 3rd one, the smaller one sometimes on the windscreen side at the back. So it is not that one, is a kind of optional, but when it's fitted, it must be working. So that is the lecture we have for today, which is the lightning and the optical system. So if you have any question, you can begin to drop your question. And today I'm going to talk about some likely questions also in exam, which most of our students should just get aware of. So for the benefit of those that have a material, or if you want to have a material and you don't want to be a student, we can also get the material across to you. And if you want to be a student, you can call us on 620, as I said, 586-038, which will prepare students and we'll make it real. make it real. Our results on the street is really telling positive about us. So that is why we come online to like assist as much as possible. Most especially, most of my students that are online also they benefit this. So now I have some areas which, according to our manual, which I'm going to tell us to read. I'm going to tell us to read. I'm going to tell us to read, and I'm going to call them subheading. For students that joined us, they have it on subheading. So what you need to do is that just pick your pen. I'm going to give you those direction where you are going to have it. Hope we have a pen. Hello, do you have a pen with yours? If you have a pen, let me just hear one person confirm yes. If you have a pen to pick up those subheading, which I'm going to give. The subheading is that if you're using our book, you're using our school book, I'm telling you some areas of attention, whereby when you read it, you can be able to ask questions from me, since you don't have question much, so that you can be able to ask questions. And these are very, very important. What I'm giving, the area I'm giving, is an area where you just have to like screen study, and when anything is not clear there, take time to call us on 620. Even if you're watching this video and you're not a student, you can call me on 620-586-038, or you write me on WhatsApp for me to explain something. I will be pleased to do that, even though you are not my student. What it does not mean, because our aim is to at least help as much as possible English speaking people here in Spain that needs to get the Spanish driver's license. So somebody confirmed that. Okay, now subheading, I have subheading 216, which talk about a sign. 216 talks about 216. Just put 216. I think maybe I should be writing it also on the screen so that it can help those that will be able to get it. 216, good. 216, which talked about sign. I have another one which is 48, subheading 48, which talks about the HOV lane, high occupancy vehicle lane. And what are the vehicle that can use it, which vehicle cannot use it, and when can you use it. Now we have another one which is 97 talks about reversing, just what I just taught now. Reverse, where can you reverse, where can you not reverse, so that it's you will get it clear. Another one is 157 talks about the lightning system on motorcycle. The lightning, what light must you use to drive? Remember, I just talked about lights, and what I'm doing now is to tell you your area where question comes in exam and where you must study, likely just within. So 157. Another one is 102. 102 talks about parking on the motorway. Where can you park on the motorway? You know, most of us does not know where to park on motorway. When question comes in exam, the question talks about the central reservation area, which is the center that divides the two flow of traffic. We don't park on the hard shoulder. A lot of people make mistake, and because the picture in exam will show somebody parking on the hard shoulder, they said, where must you park during emergency? You park on the central reservation, in central reservation area. But if the road does not have a central reservation area, that is when you can use the hard shoulder. The next one is 145. 145 talks about a protruding load protruding. How must you signal it? How must you show the presence of that load? What must you put? So it's very, very important for you to get that place. You know, I told you every week I'll be coming with likely questions in exam. These are questions that many students really need in this November, December so much. And another one is talking about 103. 103 talks about parking and stopping. What is parking? Parking is stationarizing your vehicle more than 2 minutes. What is stopping? Stopping is when you are still in the car less than 2 minutes. So you must understand difference between the parking and stopping. Where can you park? Where can you stop? Another question that you should expect in exam is found on subheading 33, which talks about two-way road, 2 lane, 3 lane, where must you stay in order to turn left? Where must you stay in order to turn right in a 3 lane? So in on subheading 3, you can be able to get that so clear. Another one here is talking about on subheading 5.2, 52, 52, which talks about the abnormal reduced speed. What is abnormal speed? Abnormal speed. I explained in the course of the teaching, and I told us that abnormal speed is a speed that is lesser than minimum speed. So you just don't do that. You can only do that if a weather condition permits you. And anything apart from weather condition, when you're doing it, it means that you should leave the road at the next exit. The next one is talking about 330. 330 talks about the pedestrian. Question comes about pedestrian. Which pedestrian? Who are the pedestrian? How can the children use the pedestrian crossing? So a question comes on that subheading. When I'm giving subheading like this, I'm giving subheading because according to the book they use units. Like the latest book, they use units, and the whole book they use the subheading. So that you can be able to have a place to just take time to study it when it's not clear. You for the benefit of somebody who is joining us newly, we've taught the topic before. We finished the topic, so we are just like giving some likely clear where direction in exam. And when I'm giving those subheading, I'm explaining the basic thing about it also. Another piece is subheading 82. Subheading 82 talks about you're driving, what you must have in mind, position you must give, distance you must give in tunnel, distance you must give on the roadway. Inside the tunnel you give at least 100 meters or 4 seconds interval. But on a normal road, you don't give a distance. It's just a kind of distance whereby if you suddenly press brake, the car behind will not be able to hit you, will be able to stop without hitting you. That is just the distance on a normal road. Only inside tunnel that we have a distance that is being assigned. We have the next one is subheading 70. Subheading 70 talks about how you join the road and how you place yourself. Talking most especially where question comes out from there is that someone who is coming from the parking must respect the person on the major road, because coming out from your parking garage, it means that you don't have priority over the person on the major road. The next one is subheading 293. 293 talks about the damage, the accidents, the insurance policy stuff, which I told you. The third insurance, the third party, which is the compulsory liability insurance, does not cover you when you are at fault. It covers only your damage. So, but the comprehensive covers you and covers the damage also. So we have the next one, which is 302. The 302 here talks about the sleepiness and fatigue. What is fatigue? Fatigue is tiredness. What is sleepiness? Sleepiness is drowsiness. And all those things, they increase your reaction time. You should know that they reduce your reaction capacity, which you need to understand. And we have the 224. 224 talks about the obligatory sign. Every blue sign, whatever that is drawn inside, talks about obligatory sign. So obligation, you have to understand difference between the mope and the bicycle. The bicycle is tiny. The mope is thicker with pedal. So different. If you're giving a circular blue with mope inside, you must understand difference between that circular blue. Circular blue is obligation. So when a mope is inside, obligation for the use of mope. When a bicycle is inside, obligation to be used by bicycle. When a pedestrian is placed inside, obligation for pedestrian to use that road. Now we have the next one, which is 39. Sorry, 39. The 39 talks about your driving on the hard shoulder, on the who are the vehicle that are meant to use the hard shoulder. We have the next one, which is 206. 206 talks about the maximum speed, the minimum speed, the maximum speed in a built-up area. What is the maximum speed in a built-up area? The maximum speed in a built-up area is 50. And what are the signs that shows that you are entering a built-up area? A white panel with red stripes around it means you are entering into a built-up area, which means the maximum speed in that built-up area is 50. And when you see it crossed, means that you are leaving the built-up area, joining the outside town. The next one is 129. The 129, which I've explained little before, which talks about the pedestrian, how pedestrian travel. Where must you walk on the roadway? You understand me? It explains that you have to walk facing the oncoming vehicle, most especially on a conventional road. Now, the next one is 313. 313. 313 talks about the front of the vehicle, how you travel, what you position, and how do you leave the 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 brake, your braking distance, all the stuff. Yeah. The next one is 301. 301 talks about fatigue. 301 talks about fatigue. Talks about fatigue. What must you do when driving under the influence of fatigue? Be calm when you are answering that kind of question, most especially when they are talking about reaction time increases, braking distance decreases. Just have this picture. What I want to explain to you now. Anytime you are under the influence of fatigue or under the influence of any factor that affects your body, that reduce your strength, when they reduce your strength, remember your reaction time will increases because your strength is decreases. But anytime your strength is increases, those reaction time will decrease. That is just the game for it. Now another one is 216. The 216 talks about the sign, how you differentiate the sign of triangle red. Triangle red is danger due to whatever that is drawn inside. And we have 384. Sorry, 384. The 384 is an area that talks about how to save fuel. How do you save fuel? Which possible gear must you drive? You have to use higher gear as possible. You don't allow the gear to make noise, because when you are driving on a lower gear or you rev so much, but you use fuel so much. Now we talk about 92 on subheading here talks about how to turn on a normal road, how to turn to make your left turning. Where must you find yourself? Where must you be? So that is very important. And we have another one which is 307. 307 is an area that talks about alcohol. The safest alcohol level in the body is 0 gram, but according to law, they permit you to have alcohol on you. A new driver can have 0.15 milligram per liter in the breath, but in the blood, 0.3 gram per liter in the blood. But a professional driver also falls on a new driver. But anybody above 2 years will have 0.25 milligram per liter in the breath, and 0.5 gram per liter in the blood. But in case you ask generally, what is the alcohol level generally? Remember that it's different from what is the safest alcohol level. The safest alcohol level, I said it before, is 0.0 gram per liter. But the generally is 0.25 milligram per liter in the breath and 0.5 grams in the blood. That is generally. Now another one is on 62, where you have the speed for road. When we talk about speed for road, we're talking about private car and motorcycle. On motorway and dual carriageway, 120. On highway for automobile, 100. On the conventional road that have any of the two property, which is the hard shoulder of 1.5 or at least 2 lane in any direction, 100. But conventional road without any of the two is 90, and a built-up area is 50. Now we have the 283. The 283 talks about your offense when you are driving. Throwing a cigarette butt or chewing gum out of the window is against the law. So does it reduce points? Yes. Throwing a cigarette butt out, you lose 4 points. So that's the question. Does throwing an object out of your window cause deduction of point? Yes, it is. Yes, yes, it does not reduce point. Yes, it reduces point. That is the answer. It reduces your point in there. Another question is found on 178. 178, which talks about sign that contradict each other. You know, when a sign of the same contradicts, sign of the same contradicts, I obey the most restrictive. When sign of different kind contradicts, I obey the most priority. What is the most priority stuff? I told you that we have 5 signs, which is part of what I'm going to teach next week, because this next week in our class, we're going to be teaching about signs. So if you want to join us, you can be able to call us and be our student, because the first sign is the traffic agent. The second one is circumstantial traffic sign. The third one is the traffic light, which is secular. The fourth one is the vertical sign. And the fifth one is the road marking. So according to hierarchy, according to priority, that is how they are. So the next one is 4, 5, 6 subheading, which talks about the motorcycle. The motorcycle who has to be at the front. The less motorcycle or the less experienced rider should be at the front. The professional should always be at the back. The bigger motorcycle should always be at the back. It comes in exam, very, very simple. And the last one is 311. The 311 talks about drug, medication, drug affect drivers on the roadway. And when you are under medication also, remember that it will affect your driving, and which is very, very important. So let me give room. Any question from anyone? Any question on the platform? Any question? Any question from any student on this? That is those are the likely questions which are meant today, which I was able to pick up today to give. So not anytime we come online like this, we said we'll be giving, after our teaching, we'll be giving likely questions in exam where people can, where students can read. If you have a material, you can be able to just read this area. And if you have your question now, the floor is open. Now we have some 15 minutes. If you have any question, you can type in your question, or you call in on 620-586-038. Remember, I told you, you can do it. We'll make it possible. You can do it. You can do it. It's just for you to just create time, fall in love with it. You can do it. You can do it. So it is very, very important. And if you've been to exam before and one question is like so funny, you can just relate it with us and let's share idea. Let's explain why that question is like that. Sometimes people don't get different between the general law and the exceptional cases. So when they mix the general law and the exceptional cases together, they pick up a wrong answer. You have to understand when a question is saying obligation and when a question is saying exceptional cases. So just like an example is, can you reverse? As a general law, you cannot reverse. But why did they put reverse gear in the car? Because of exceptional cases that are two. And those two has condition. One, when you enter a no-through road, where you cannot change direction, you cannot reverse. You cannot change direction. You cannot make a U-turn. There's no other option than to reverse. And in that area, you can reverse as much distance as possible, and you can evade junction. Or when you park in an area where you park slantly and you have to reverse to come out, you reverse to come out, but you don't go more than 15 meters, and you don't invade junction. So any other question? And I would always encourage, the reason why I come on board like this is because I encourage as many that wants to get this. Don't pay someone. Don't malpractice. Don't join those ideas, because a lot of people, a lot of my country people are in for it, and they had a lot of issue in their residence permits, because when you have problem with the driver's license exam and you are caught, automatically they can withdraw your resident permit. So I always encourage people, just if you know you are not ready, wait for the right time. Just do it. It's very important. Don't pay someone to go and do it, and if the person is caught, it becomes a problem. You can join our class. It depends. It's now depend on you that will determine when you arrive to exam. By the time we run the class twice, I think you'll be able to. We're on the way. We do all our possible best to run the class in just 5 weeks, according to our syllabus and and we make it available. The teacher is available 24 hours to be able to solve your problem at again. And we're giving a kind of flexible ways of payment whereby you can be able to pay maybe twice, and we get all your complete materials to you to get passed. So a question from your students. Say, good afternoon, sir. Please, sir, what is this parallel? What is parallel? Good. Parallel is just beside each other. Look at these two phones. They are parallel to each other. They are on the side of each other. You understand me? Parallel to each other. They cannot meet because they are walking parallel. When you are driving on two lanes, one car on the lane, the other car on another lane, they are on parallel. That is the meaning of parallel. Please, if you understand, always thumb up for me to know. That is parallel. Parallel is you going on the same road, but you are just on both sides. You are just on each other side, and you don't touch yourself. You are parallel to each other. So that's it. We call it parallel line, just like the way we say parallel line in mathematics in our school days. So I think it's clear. It's clear. So that is it. Any other question from anyone? Any other question? Please, those likely places I gave is very important. Very, very important. So when you're a student, you study it and anything is not clear, snap it or tell me, teacher, please explain subheading 307 on our class. Is only meant for my students and class. And because of people that are sitting for exam this November, December, is very, very important for you to have this. Very important to you. Any other person on question? If you have any question, remember that if you're using your phone and it's so stressful to type, you can use another phone to call us in on 620-586-038. And I'm available here to solve as much problem as possible, because we have a lot of people having exam this November and December, and it is very important for them to pass. It is very important. It's very important. They are really due for it. Very important. So we have to do all possible best out of no time to create this kind of time to be able to have this. So at the end of the day, you can also share this video with as many people that was learning to pass theory in English in Spain, and you can let them know that we are available to assist as much as possible. So any other question from anyone? Any other question? And let me just use this means before a question comes up. Let me use this means to tell you that sometimes when you go to exam, you might have it on system. Good. On system, you pick the language you want, or if you didn't tell them where you register, it means that you have to confirm before you start, confirm that what they gave to you is English, because if you start the Spanish one, they will not reverse it. So you have to tell them that you want English, so that when you're giving the English, you start up the English and be calm. If question 1 is not clear, leave it, go and do number 2. If question 2 is not clear, leave it, go and do number 3. When you come back to it, you will have gotten an idea to solve it up. Make sure you don't leave anyone. It's just 30 minutes, 30 questions. You don't leave anyone. So in that case, other people can be given a paper, the printed paper, which your name is on it already, everything about you, your data is on it, and what you just need to do is to sign and make sure you write all the code. The code is very, very important, because the code of what fails many people when they are given paper is because they don't write the code of the exam. So when they are marking it, they don't know the code to use in marking that. So that is the one. So it's very, 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 very important for us to know that. An exam, just calm down. Most of my students that are going to exam, just calm down. It's possible. It's possible. It's possible with the lecture you have. It's possible. You have to discover which area. If you've been to exam before and you fail or you have an error, you have to discover which area are the areas you fail. So you have to go back to your book and do correction. If you are a boxer and you don't go back to training when you are beaten, you're going back to be beaten again. So as a student, when you fail, go back to the book and try to cross-check. Now you've gotten an experience, go back to the fight so that you can you can win this time around. It's not that you have to just, you should believe that because you feel, oh, I have to give up. No, those that give up, you give up for it. I have people that give up 5 years ago. They are coming back for it now. So, and they are regretting that. Why did they give up 5 years ago? Because when 5 years ago, if you have a license 5 years ago, you advance, you've already gotten another level of life. So, and remember that most of the job require next year of driver's license, which is very important. If we have no other question tonight, I think I will call it a day. And thank you for those that join us. I only saw few people, but I appreciate Sister Wumi, say Brother Levis that joins us again. Thank you very much, brother. So as many that are watching, if you're watching this video, just realize that it is possible. We make it possible, and we assist as much as possible to help a lot of people here in Spain. So if you're living outside Spain, you can call us also. We get material, we post it to you, we prepare you for exam, and you come down to do the exam and you get it easy. We guarantee your pass. We make it real. We do our possible best to make it real. And we have the best material that tallies to exam. So you can use our material and fail, because we are sure of what we're doing. The years of experience and what we do, we make it real for as many that will need to get it. So thank you very much for being part of this program, and I appreciate everybody who is here. My name remains Steve Adetela. Bye.